Okay, we're back. Now the first thing we're going to do is it's important to put a center line down the middle. I always use that as a reference point. I also use a spray solution of rubbing alcohol of 70% strength with water, and the mixture ratio is 1:1. So half water, half of the rubbing alcohol. You mix it in a bottle and you can just spray it on your carving before you start. It'll just make it a little easier to run it. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take out the top portion here first. We're going to try to get this rounded up first. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around, and you'll notice I use different knives all the time here. I'm just going to try to establish where that line is, where we're going to start here, and I'm just going to cut it in just a tad so we have it completely square all the way around, and right there to right there. Okay, alright, now we're going to go to each corner and we're going to cut out. We're going to do a stop cut, and the stop cut is simply putting a cut in and then bringing your knife to that stop cut. Alright, now I use pocket knives and I use regular knives, standard knives. If you're a beginner, do not use a pocket knife, okay? Make sure you have your glove on and your thumb guard on when you start this project. Especially if it's really tiny, it can be a little bit more difficult to do. Alright, so let's start rounding this off. And we'll round off to the top first, and then we'll work our way down. Alright, just like so. Alright, and now I'm going to get that a little bit more rounded. And what I want to do is go back and recut that and to make sure that's... The great thing about center lines is you make sure that you use it as a reference point, you know, when you do try to make a half circle and all that. You know, I'll do most of it here online with you. There are times when I'll tell you to go offline and finish up something because it's just redundant, you know, repeating the same cuts. You notice how I'm pushing with my knife, using my thumb to cut it. It's a very safe way. You have a lot of control over your blade doing it this way. Is this a beginner's project? It can be. If you watch very carefully and take your time and how you do this, you can do it. But it's really meant for somebody that's been carving for a little while, and as long as you're comfortable with the knife, it would be okay. Alright, so that's the top of our carving, but I'm going to make it just a tad deeper, just for the sake of making it a tad deeper. And I just really want it round, nice and round. I don't want a square look to it. Okay, so I'm going to work on that a little bit, maybe when I get offline. Alright, so that's the first portion that we have. Alright, now the next portion on this, you can see where it's uneven. We're going to try to even things up a little bit here and there. Like I said, when you cut on a bandsaw, it's very easy to cut it when one side is flat, but when it's curved like this, it's dangerous to do it because it can catch and fly out of your hands, and you really need to have a good grip on it. So, you know, if you're not experienced with a bandsaw and you have one, just do the one cut. Just do a side cut, and you can do all this cut all by hand. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to determine where that hat's going to be. Okay, let's do that. We're going to determine also where the tassel portion is going to be. Alright, just like so. It's a little hard to put this on if your piece is wet. So just let it dry a little bit. You'll be able to put the pencil marks on. If you try to put it on right after you spray it, you're going to be out of luck. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut the top part of the brim of the hat and the bottom part of the nose, and just pick out a spot. I picked about maybe 3/4 of an inch down, no, half an inch or a little better down, and then another maybe quarter or a little bit further than that, 3/8 of an inch down for the nose. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the nose out. This will be the bottom part of the nose. Alright, just like so. And we are doing it out of the corner, just like we do with any of the other Santas I've done. A lot of my morning Santa I do from the front, but there are more that I do from the front. But let's go down like so and do the top brim part of the hat here. So this is the top of the nose, this is the bottom part of the nose. Alright, so we have that established. What we're going to do is we're going to also show where the tassel goes up here. We're just making a nice little round design, okay? And we're going to cut at the bottom part of the tassel. Alright, and we're going to cut the top part of the tassel from both directions. Alright, just like so. Alright, and I'll be back to show you more as soon as we come back.